In this video, let's talk about what a normal distribution is. As you can see, I have a series of numbers in column A. If you pay attention to it, it's quite an incremental set of values, and the average of the data set is 4.5, and that is important when we look at uh, a normal bell curve. Uh, So the column B has a corresponding value to each of the values in column A, and that is basically a function called norm.dist in Excel, and that basically returns a normal distribution value for a specified value in a data set with a specific mean or an average and the standard deviation that we provide. So once it returns the normal distribution, then we simply plot a line graph using these values in column B, and you get a bell curve. Now, something interesting about this bell curve is that the mean, which is 4.5, is the center of the curve and divides the area into two halves. It simply means that if you look at the data set, you have equal number of values below the value of 4.5 and equal number of values above the value of 4.5. So the data is simply centered around the mean in a normal distribution. Now, why is that so important? It is important because using this uh, approach, there are multiple tools in statistics that you can use. And also, from a Six Sigma perspective, there are a lot of tools that you can use once the data is normal. Now, of course, in real life, you may not find a data set so pure, but then it could have, let's say, instead of 3.5, there could be 3.8 or some other departure from these values, but then it will still be fairly normal. But then if you have a data set, let's say a point that is 50, then it completely departs from normality. Now, from a Six Sigma perspective, it basically talks about reducing the standard deviation, or in other words, the spread of the data that you see here, so that you can fit in as many standard deviations possible. The more you fit in, it basically talks about reduction in the variation of this data set so that it doesn't spread out about the mean. So when you reduce the standard deviation, we are trying to hit the target value around the mean so that we achieve something that is close to the mean and thereby attaining something close to a Six Sigma. So that's the importance of a normal distribution, and there are a lot of tools we can use once the data is normal, and I'll cover those in the coming videos.